All right, Philip, I have my settings done, so in a few minutes here, you should see it show up.
All right. All right, you're live.
Okay, welcome everybody to the Disability Digest live event. It's 12:14. We usually get started at 12:15, but we're so excited. Why not start early today, huh? Yes. So, folks, thanks for joining. Philip, I know you have some audience out in your Facebook group. Glad to have you back and your group. Those of you on YouTube watching this, welcome. And we have Daphne Graff here, special guest this week. Thank you so much for joining us, Daphne.
Thank you.
Yes. So today we are going to talk about some of the different items that impact individuals as they go through and experience life-changing events due to their health, work, etc. That usually drives some uncertainties. So we're going to talk about and give you some tips to cope with financial insecurity. When you lose your job and your health takes a hit, a lot of people have identity, sense of purpose concerns, challenges. You can't get around as well as you used to. Oftentimes there's social isolation and loneliness. And dealing with the Social Security system, even before or after you're approved, can be frustrating. So we'll talk about that and some of the other ways to deal with anxiety and uncertainty. So that's what we have on top. So I want to thank you, Philip and Daphne, for joining this once again, because I can speak from my position, but both of you as disability recipients actually live this or some of it. So your perspective is super valuable.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to go through. Now, Philip, at the end, your group there, if they have questions, they can do what?
I've got the chat on, so they just post the chat.
Okay, post the chat. We'll take those at the end. And if you're listening somewhere else in the world on YouTube, you can enter in your comments in the chat item there. I just want to thank you, Mama Bear, for the nice compliment that you put in the chat there. It says, if no one's told you, you're a blessing to so many of us. So I thank you for that. And it's our privilege to do this work.
Right.
Okay, let's get started. So the first thing is with this event, in my years of experience of doing this, we just celebrated our 16th year anniversary. The common challenges that people have and living with health conditions that prevent them from work are really frustrating. And this is not going to solve all the problems today, but hopefully we will give you some tips, some advice, some resources that will help you in the right direction to feel a little less stressed. But most importantly, what I want to say in advance, and speaking for Daphne and Philip as well, is we'd love to learn from you. If there's things that you have that would be helpful for others that you are willing to share, that would be awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because we don't have all the answers. So the first one that we want to address is the financial insecurity. I don't think anybody expects to have an event like this happen in your life. So that's one, the uncertainty of what happens with the financial. I'm not able to work, so what am I going to do? How am I going to pay my bills, my mortgage, my cars, all of that? And there is assistance out there, but if you're not prepared for it and you don't know where to look, then it's really, it can be stressful for you. So here at the Disability Digest, our focus with Daphne and Philip and the others that work here is really to do three things to help you out. First of all, is to help you get your disability benefits approved fast. And the most of that work is, for us anyways, in the Social Security disability income. But that's not a quick fix. And there's other organizations and resources that are out there, but to get you from where you're at into like a Social Security disability income recipient state, I mean, right now I'd say realistically it's going to be at least 8 months from start to finish, and that gives you, a probability of getting approved at the initial application, but there's no certainty. So what do you do? What does somebody do, in the meantime? So I believe actually, Daphne, this was originally your idea, is to put together some resources that will help people survive. Now, if you're approved out there, these are still resources that you can take advantage of. And I'm going to put this link in the chat here on YouTube to this page. But, there's services like 211, there's county services, there's centers for independent living. We're going to talk more about them later in the program. There's ways for you to reduce your expenses like your Wi-Fi, your phone expense. There's Department of Human Services, etc. But so I'm not going to go through all these because this has already been done. But just to let you know, if you're trying to get from A to B and you're looking at Social Security, there are other things out there that you can take advantage of, like SSI and Medicare. But I want to hear from Daphne and Philip. Is there anything that you either personally experienced that was either a resource or a mindset that helped you out, that you can think of to pass on?
Yes, mine was volunteering at a adult daycare center, and they offered classes, and I learned to make jewelry. And when I learned to make jewelry, I could sell my jewelry to family members, make some additional funds like that. I also learned how to do ceramics. And I also volunteered in the chair exercise. So that would get me there, because sometimes it just would be very hard to get up and go to this class. But since I was leading the class and I had to be there, so I was able to go there, and just interacting with a lot of people and seeing people who are worse off than you are, it made me put things in perspective.
Wow. That's interesting. I didn't know that about you, Daphne. How about that? So you were able to do a little bit of work and still make some money while you were going through the application process.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Good. And it sounds like that gave you some sense of purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't know how they look at this now, but they allowed me to get checks from the unemployment after I applied. So up until that ran out, I mean, my husband, he has provided a lot of the support and assistance, but I was able to use that and get funds from the unemployment.
Yeah. I mean, that's still a strategy. I would say it's, in my opinion, it's a case by case situation, but so with Social Security, your argument is that you cannot work. And with unemployment, the argument is that you cannot find a job. So you have to spin it from an application standpoint and say, well, I can't find a job that I can do because of my health conditions. That's the short answer. So good for you. Yeah. Yeah. Philip, how about you?
Well, my situation is quite a bit different. I mean, I was, as you know, a carpenter 40 something years, and that's all I knew how to do. I didn't know anything else but how to use my hands. And I had to, when I lost my eyesight, as you know, I'm legally blind, I had to figure out what, what I was going to be able to do. And there was really, I had no training in anything else. So my eye doctors are the ones that pushed me to join with the Texas School for the Blind. And that's where I learned what it was going to take for me to try to survive out in the world on my own. Because I live alone. I'm not married. I've got kids, but you want to do things on your own. You want to learn how to do things on your own. I've done it myself. So I do it on my own, regardless. The School for the Blind is something. If you're in situations, reach out to your community, see what's out there. Your doctors can help you figure out what your next step is. And at the School for the Blind, I like I said, I learned how to do things that I hadn't normally been able to do, and that's how I got this job with you.
Right.
Just figuring out something that I could do, and this was one thing that I wanted to help others that were in the same situation I was in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, now that you explain it to me that way, I mean, you've been here for 5 years, right? This month.
Yeah.
But it's really just put a different perspective on me, because there are other people in other situations with their health where they may not have an impact on their independence, on their mobility, right?
Well, that's the other thing. You got to learn if you're in and I don't know how people do it that are in a small rural communities that don't have the abilities that I have here living in a big, metropolitan city like Austin, Texas. I've got the ability to a ride to go to my doctor's appointments, to go to the grocery store, to go wherever I need. And it's curb to curb service. And it's, if I didn't have that, I don't know what I would do.
Jeez, yeah. That's pretty attractive. And
my sons all the time said, "Hey, I need to ride somewhere." But they have a life. They got things they got to do. So it's really if you live in a big, well, I don't know what's available out there, but if you are unable to drive, look for lots of other reasons other than being blind. Reach out to somebody, find out what's out there in the public.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, 2 things that come to mind: Centers for Independent Living offer transportation, as well as Medicare Advantage plans, right, Daph? But they only send you one way.
Yes. You get so many one-way rides.
Right. Right. So that's not as attractive as just having a bus show up.
But there are programs in the community. You really need to check into your community to see exactly what they're offering, because we here in Florida have a program called TOPS, and it's a little van that picks you up and takes you from your house to the adult daycare center or to Walmart, wherever you want to go. It takes you, drops you
Nice.
off. And
Nice.
it's available. The county pays for it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good, good. Let's slide into the next topic, which we've touched on a little bit, which is identity and purpose. So, and from my side, when I'm talking and interviewing people that are, either going through in the process, there's, a lot of our identity is around what we do. I mean, if you think about it, if you go out socially, what's the question that people ask you? Like, what do you do?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I have some fun with that question. I've used everything from I'm an astronaut to I'm a parent of 2 kids. I just want to see what the reaction is. But point is it's identity. So how do you deal with that when a big part of your life, I mean, I'm sure we've all met people that have been career truck drivers or nurses or teachers, and you're done. You can't work anymore, right? So I think some of the same things that you have shared with me, the connecting to community, that can help you with that, because you need to. Is it replacing your sense of purpose with another purpose, or?
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
You got to find,
Go ahead.
never say you won't do something or I can't do that. You don't know until you try it and see.
Right.
Mhm.
And
you get
don't be,
involved with you get involved with community programs. You get involved with your church.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people that go to church with you that need help. So you don't make volunteering almost like a job, but what you want to do is be able to volunteer enough to help someone else out. And that makes you feel really good. So a lot of times when people would ask me, what do? I said, I'm an encourager. And then they would want to know exactly what I meant by that. And I said, I draw out of you what your God-given gifts, and I encourage you to help other people.
Nice. Nice. Boy, I'm learning a lot about you today, Daphne. How about you, Phil?
I am I'm an encourager. Maybe not as good as Daphne is, but I try.
Yeah. A few things that come to mind is like if you're listening and you're in Philip's Facebook group, that's a great place to be active and contribute on a low level. You don't have that human interaction, but there's still, a lot of good that can be done. Like Philip, for example, does a lot of good with his Facebook group, helping people in all aspects of the challenges that they're faced. So that is one. And if you're not in a group, you can join one. The Disability Digest has a group, or maybe there's a condition-related group that's relevant to you or some other interest. But in my opinion, that is a great, easy entry place for you to start getting connectivity out there, right? I do have one other thing to share on this topic. I'm going to share my screen here. And this is a topic, it's called the spoon theory. I've talked about this before. It's been a while. Are you familiar with this, Philip, Daphne?
No.
No.
So this theory came about as a result of a member here, Christine, at the Disability Digest, and it's taken on its own identity and approach to how to deal with a chronic illness. And what my perspective is on it is this: is one of the challenges that people have is they were at one point in their life fully active and working and engaged in an 8-hour day, and likely had family responsibilities and others, right? You both can relate to that.
Yeah.
But then as life changes, you're not able to do that. You're not able to work an 8-hour day, right? Or Right. So there was a time, for example, that you were working and you were full on out there. You had, if you got up in the morning, you had 5 spoons of energy, right? And you could probably burn 2 spoons of those doing your 8-hour a day deal. And then you'd come home and you'd have your family obligations that might take another spoon or so. And then you had recreation, and that was it for the day. But now you get up in the morning and it might take you 3 of your spoons to get through breakfast. And you need to understand how many spoons it's going to take for you to execute what you can do right now and be okay with that. So the spoon theory really puts things in perspectives that, okay, my spoon and my allocation of them is different now. I don't have the energy like I did before. So this is from the Cleveland Clinic. You can go out and just Google spoon theory metaphor, read through it, and using that mindset may help you adjust to some of that loss of sense of purpose, or I can't do what I used to do feeling that's out there. Right.
Okay.
All right. So let's move on to the next one. This is 3 out of 5. Isolation. So it's a tough one. I think the biggest challenge that some people have is something happens to them and they find themselves on the couch married to the remote and they don't have a way to get out or go anywhere. They lose their social identity and their networks, which is unfortunate and dangerous. So any advice for that topic?
The isolation is basically, like I said, get involved with your church, get involved with an organization that where you can help people, encourage them. And those were the 2 things that I did, was the church and the adult daycare center. I did that mostly, but I have the ability to fly for free because my husband works for American Airlines. So I made it a habit to go back to home to North Carolina, and I would visit friends and family there.
Yeah.
And that helped me a lot to be able to make that contact with them, old school friends and things like that.
Good for you. I feel it's critically important to just continue to invest heavy in friends, regardless of where you're at. I see that with my mom. She's 91 years old, and she's lost a lot of friends just because of her age. But she does a really good job of investing heavy in them. Like she would do for them, with them, call them, check on them, and that I look at her as a role model in that area.
That's
so
good.
yeah.
That biggest advice I can get is if you find yourself in this situation, you can't draw within and become a recluse and not try to get out there and socialize, or just it means it helps you a lot when you keep interacting with your friends, your family, and new people. I mean, going out and meeting new people energizes me a lot.
Yeah.
And from our experience, just talking with each other, that I have been, I have cattle, and I go out and I have a partner that helps me with it. But every day, every morning at 6:30 a.m., we go out and meet the rest of the guys at the coffee shop. And every week we meet at least two or 3 times a week, and there's somebody new coming in every week, and that's where I meet somebody new, and build a relationship there. And you got to have that. You got to have that relationship with the other people. You just don't sit at home and do watch TV all day long. Find something you can do.
Mhm. Philip, I watched your facial expression when you said I have cattle, and it looked like you were making a confession. Maybe some days it is.
Yeah, and that's a hobby. It's not
Yeah,
anything you make money at, believe me. It's just a
yeah,
hobby. Something to keep you busy doing something.
Yeah.
no, that's a great point. Okay, well, thanks for sharing that. I want to take a moment and also share with you how you can use your local Center for Independent Living for resources like this. And these are commonly profiled. I'm going to put it up on my screen here. In the work that we do, and these are government organizations that provide free services to those that are going through the disability approval process, even if you're not on disability and you're just in need. So they have support groups and different ways in which you could volunteer and help. So we have a story from member Jim that's in our testimonial. He works as a housing counselor at Centers for Independent Living, super flexible, 2 or 3 hours a day. And he helps people find housing, which is a tough job. But so you could either find something to do there from a volunteer perspective, or you could get into one of their support groups and networking groups. So this green button right here is brings you into the directory. And then if you're just looking for the one in your local area, you click on your state, and then you look at the red dot. There's one in, looks like Round Rock area in Austin. And, you can do it in any state, and they're everywhere. I'm in rural Vermont, and there's at least, 4 or 5 in the state. So that's a great resource. If you're looking for something to do to get out and connect with people, I would consider that your go-to number one place is the Centers for Independent Living. And if you're in like Philip's group or somewhere else and you don't have access to this, or don't get the link in the YouTube chat that I'm going to put in there, just ask however you were invited here for that. Okay, so that's an idea on that topic. Can be super frustrating going through the process, and I'm going to put it in 2 buckets. The frustration of being at the mercy of Social Security and their time frame and their delays. That's one. And then, I'm going to kind of wrap into the last topic. Then once you're approved, I see that, there's a frustration of living on a fixed income. And then there's the uncertainty tied in with that it might not be there forever with the reviews that are going on and the continued scrutiny by Social Security. So for the 4th and 5th, topics that I'm airing out here, any advice for people?
Just make sure you go into your doctors. Whenever you get your disability, don't stop going to the doctor. You need to go to the doctors. You need to keep, even if you don't write a lot, keep a journal, keep a calendar of when you've gone to see certain specialists and your primary care physician. You have to make sure that you're going to them. And if you don't like going to go to them every 3 months, at least that you have that on record.
Good point. Good point. So if you're approved, go to your doctors, because by doing that, you're doing the best you can to keep your benefits, and you're not caught going through a review with spotty medical, right? That they can, yeah. Yeah. I have a thought on this. I think one of the biggest drivers of frustration, anxiety, uncertainty is the unknown. And when people are starting the process of going through disability, in my experience of talking with thousands of people, I could safely say, is the best way to resolve that is to understand the expectations. So what I commonly say is people will come into the disability process and they'll be looking for like the magic bullet to solve their problems. I'm going to get approved. I'm going to get all this back pain. I'm going to get it done in 3 months, which would be wonderful. But we're at the mercy of a big bureaucracy, and there's very few things you can do to get your name at the front of the list as much as you want to. So understanding that, okay, it's probably going to take me this long to get my first decision, and the probability of getting approved there, okay, I understand what that is. And if it doesn't happen, then I'm going to go on to the next, so that you have that in place and it's taken care of. And then you kind of roll it back to Daphne's opening comments, and then finding something to do in the meantime, so you're not just dwelling on it all the time, right? I feel so bad for people that maybe they've reviewed it, maybe they just don't get it and they have pressures, but that's the best thing that I can think of from my experience. Get a handle.
I would like to say, don't let the baggage of the past affect your future. And that means that just because you were turned down initially when you started the process does not mean that you will be turned down on the second try, right? So a lot of people come in with this negativity that, oh, I was turned down, so I'll probably get turned down again. Don't think like that.
Yeah. No, that's
good. You put your hands into somebody that's an expert at working with people to help them get their disability. So have confidence in that. You don't want to wear them out because they have several members to work with, but they all working on your behalf.
Yeah, great advice. I think at the end of the day, people just, I tell people this, I say, just look yourself in the mirror. I mean, you've worked X amount of years doing this, and say, like, can I work? Can I physically work? And then, I mean, if you can't, there's your answer, right? You just need to prove it. Easier, said than done, but that's it. Yeah. So, all right.
Well,
Philip.
I think back to the part of after you're approved, staying on your disability. In my experience, what I've learned is you've got to keep yourself educated on it. And I know a lot of people just don't have the strength to do it. A lot of people are really, really sick, but you still have to stay educated. You got to keep yourself up every year.
Right.
The rules and laws change every year. And if you're not familiar with it, if you don't keep yourself up, something will sneak up on you and bite you in the butt. And think, you're in trouble, and it takes a lot to get out of that or correct it. So keeping up with the current events on it is critical.
Yep. I would suggest too, AARP has a very good magazine that they send out every month. And if you're not a member, at least try to be a member of that so you can get these magazines. And it gives you a lot of very, very important information. A lot of times they will take on what's happening within the Social Security arena. It's very good to tell you about scams that are going around. And especially now, if you're into this crypto thing, you need to know exactly what kind of scams are going on. So become a member of the AARP and get that magazine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, and it's great advice. It's easier to be educated than it is to fight the result of not being educated with Social Security. And I mean, we do our best here to have these events, and as a member, you can get a customized approach to whatever your concern is, getting your benefits, keeping your benefits, maximizing them here at the Disability Digest. So we do our best to put it in little digestible chunks so you can easily learn and stay informed. How about we take some questions before we wrap up? I've got a bunch over here. Philip, you have anything going on your side?
Not yet.
Okay. So I'm going to start, and I just asked for some forgiveness in advance. I am not Jam, as you know, who typically does this very, very well, but I will do my best. So let's see. Somebody M has a question about CDRs and age, which isn't specific, but I think what you're asking is, do the CDRs stop at a certain age? And CDR is a continuing disability review, for those of you that don't know. And yes, they do. When you reach full retirement age, which is for most 67, then your disability status will change to full retirement age, and you're no longer have to adhere to the CDRs. The other thing too is the income earning guidelines are removed, so you're just a Social Security recipient at that point. Warren, back at ya. Sabrina, hello. Let's see, James here. Okay, James has a question that says, what are the chances of getting SSDI? I have moderate lumbar stenosis now, and I've been diagnosed with severe COPD. Either of you want to take a swing at this one?
Sure. Those are certainly debilitating conditions, but how are they affecting the COPD? How is that affecting your ability to, say, walk down a flight of stairs or up a flight of stairs, go out to your car? How far can you walk before you have to stop and rest? How long does it take you to recoup before you can get up and walk again?
Mm-hmm.
You need to be detailed in how those conditions are limiting your ability to do things.
Exactly. Yeah, so I think what I hear you saying is there's more to it.
Yes.
Yeah, need more.
More information, and it's not just the conditions. So yeah, if you're just starting the process at the Disability Digest, you can, when you join us as a member, which there's no charge for, you fill out a profile, you get access to a disability approval course, specific resources that will help you understand if your conditions qualify, what you need to do to get approved, with a strategy to get approved. So that's something that could help you. Daph, did you have something to add?
Well, in reference to what Philip was saying, is that whenever you want to apply for disability, you've got to find out the type of job that you do. Are you able to do that job or something very similar to that job? Because that's what they're going to be looking at.
Right.
You can't do any type of job that you used to do or is doing now. That's what they're going to be looking at.
Mm-hmm. Good point. So we have a question here from one of our frequent attendees, Disabled Officer. Hello. Says, hi guys, I heard Brian on a short YouTube video state that there's a maximum lifetime payment. Well, I don't know of a maximum lifetime payment. I know of a maximum family payment. So if you take your check and you have children that are under 18, they also can get checks, and the maximum amount is 150% of your check. So that's the family maximum. There is no known lifetime maximum. That would be a bummer if there was. Oh,
Yeah.
let's see, right? You're
Mhm.
only going to get, it's like California state disability. You get it, your bucket of money, and then you're done.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Mind you, there are people that have put a political push on a concept like that, but
Yeah, that's not good.
yeah, I don't see that
Mm.
work.
I got Ryan.
Yes.
This one, Charles says he's checked online to his application. He's at 75%. And they finished the medical review and it's gone in the non-medical review. And he's asking, does this mean they approved his medical?
No, not unless you've received a specific letter or indication on there that says you have passed the medical review, which does happen. And then they're looking at the non-medical. I just see that as
Then I get
communication.
a lot too. What is the non-medical side of it?
They're looking into your work credits, which it really boggles me. Okay. They've invested all of this time and these resources to find out if you qualify medically. And if they do that and you haven't worked enough to receive a disability check, and they're going to check on that last, which
That doesn't make any sense.
there's a lot of things that don't make sense. I just don't get that one.
Yeah,
Right.
shouldn't that be the first thing they would do is check to see if you're.
That's true. The first thing they
Yeah.
should do is check the credits.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the first conversations we have with people when we're helping them with their strategy. Like, tell me about your work.
Yeah,
So,
not much sense in moving forward
Exactly.
if you can't meet that first requirement unless you're going for SSI.
right. Right. Yep. Any others over there now, Philip?
Oh, let's see. That was the only question. I'm going through the Facebook group though, to see
All
steps.
right. You
Wait, so
grab one over there and I'll take one on this side while you're getting fired up.
go ahead.
I read in this is from M. I read in 2 different places that after age 50, the lifetime for CDR stretches to once every 5 to 7 years. Is that true? Don't know. It's based on your award letter and the time frame that's in there. So they may change it. That could be. I'm not familiar with it. If you find an actual, like if you hear things like this, the best advice that I have is look for information that's on ssa.gov that supports this, or if it's something that is like regarding Medicare or your Medicare benefits, that it's on medicare.gov. Believe it or not, there's a lot of stuff out there that's not always factual.
It's true.
This is from Sabrina. Hello, Sabrina. Brian, you have really encouraged me as I started my Social Security disability case in May of 2022. Hopefully you'll be approved soon. That'd be more encouraging. Philip, chime in if you come up with something over there.
One here. I'm thinking about applying for SSI. I have severe arthritis, anxiety, depression, and have 3 tumors on my lungs and 1 on my brain. I've been a housewife for most of my adult life and don't have much work experience. Is it going to be impossible for me to get SSI?
That's a good question. So what we have here is somebody that would not qualify for Social Security disability based on the information
Correct.
that you provided, right? We agree
Right.
with that. So they're going to be seeking SSI, which is possibly some monthly payment in the $900 and something range in Medicaid. The medical criteria is the same. So the response to that question would parallel what you had provided earlier, Philip. I mean, the focus of the question is it going to be hard? Right?
Well, she mentioned she's a housewife, so SSI is going to depend on her household income from her spouse,
Yep.
whether she applies for SSI. The
Unless-
medical, I can see the conditions again.
Yeah.
Conditions. I mean, I can imagine how they affect her, but
Yeah.
you're gonna have to explain it and detail it out how they limit your ability to be able to do things at home. If you're a housewife, can you,
Yeah.
you know, how much do you do at home?
Mhm.
But the first hurdle is going to be, of course, the financial side of it. How much income is coming in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have a bigger public service announcement on this that I want to make for all of you that are out there. This likely doesn't apply directly to you, but if you have family or loved ones, hopefully this will make a difference. One of the ongoing challenges that we see is that people like this are stay-at-home moms. They're doing work, they're doing brilliant stuff of raising kids, but they become uninsured for Social Security disability and something happens. And it can be, it's devastated families, because even if the spouse is working, it could, have an impact on the insurance. If it's a major medical event, it could not be covered by insurance. So they're stuck. So if possible, for moms that are, stay at home, is to find a side hustle where they can make, even if it's like $2,000 a quarter, that would be enough to keep them insured for their Social Security disability benefits and Medicare. And it's not a lot of money. And there's a lot of things that, creatively, collectively, that are out there, especially in today's world. So that's my message for family financial safety.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
Yeah. Brian, also like in the adult daycare center, they also pay for the I say FPL, but the light and energy, sewer, and they send out checks every month. Plus they have an apartment complex next door, and it's affordable housing. So you can get a lot of benefits through those entities.
Okay, I want to make sure I understand this. And this is through what organization, Daphne?
It's a adult daycare center out of Pembroke Pines.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Nice. Let's see what else we have here. And CDRs. Here's one. I've waited almost 3 years. 5 years ago. All right. Well, sounds like you're approved now that you're through it. It's more of a statement. Okay, here's one. I've been waiting 14 months for an initial decision. They keep apologizing and pushing it back. I'm wondering if you're in one of those states like Florida or Texas where you two are respectively from. I don't expect you guys are causing the delays. I'm not saying that. Just that you live there. So, there's not lots, but there are things that you can do to make an effort if it's at 14 months that we've covered or that we have that are accessible to members. One of which is understand if your case is in a good shape where a decision could be made on it. And then if so, involve a government representative, preferably a congressional office member, to apply a little pressure on it. Those are things, because if you're at 14 months, that's well beyond the 233 days. That's the average nationally. It would be acceptable, in my opinion, for you to do that. All right.
Would the Surgeon General be a resource as well to reach out to?
Not that I know of. It's usually a congressional office, like here in Vermont, I use Bernie Sanders. I've used others in other parties, but their office is the best.
All right.
Yeah. And they're not going to influence the decision, but they'll make an inquiry about the process. Okay.
All right. Brian, well, Amy says, what happened to Amy? There it is. Amy says, my award letter didn't say anything about my review. Or when my review will be. Is this normal?
You do see that from time to time, especially if you were approved at the initial or the reconsideration level.
Initial.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's usually 3 to 5 years is the longest that you see. My advice is just plan for it. Just do what you need to do. Day one, it's not going to be life-changing for you. It's what you should be doing anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So, and for those of you out there that are concerned about your benefits, here at the Disability Digest, we have a benefit protection program that you can enroll in. Doesn't cost you anything. You can get access for free. It's for those of you that we are managing your disability benefits, especially your Medicare insurance, regardless what type of plan that you're on. If we are your agent, that could be somebody like Daphne or myself, then you have access to this benefit protection program. So when you get your disability review, you have support in place to help you, which is the preparation steps you need to take long before you even get it, what to do when you get it, when you get your forms. If you need them reviewed by our legal team, we can do that. If it gets denied, then we definitely want to assist you. And we do this because we want to keep you in your Social Security disability benefits so we can continue to manage your insurance, because we get paid by insurance companies to do that. So you win by keeping your benefits, we win by you keeping your benefits, and we get paid. So everybody wins. That's the concept. All right. So inquire if you don't know about that and would like to learn more. All right, let's see. Here's one. This is, it reads, good afternoon. I was approved for widow's benefits while I'm waiting for disability approval, which is 26% of the process. I applied in May and said it would be about 7 months. Just a statement. Thank you. Just so you know, you'll get the higher of the two. So if your widow's benefit is less than your Social Security disability, then it would make sense to pursue it. All right, Mama Bear writes, could you guys maybe school some about colitis, diverticulitis, and severe COPD? Tongue twister. I'm gonna get fired doing this. Jam will be back next week, folks. I don't know what school you'd like on that. Like, is that a question, Mama Bear, about applying, like those conditions? That's not clear, but anybody have a hunch what is being attempted to communicate?
No, I'm sure it's
if those are, if those are symptoms that they can use to get your disability.
Yeah. So I'll take a shot at this and put a general spin on it. Let's say you have, colitis, diverticulitis, and other conditions that require certain, let's say, toileting needs. Then you need to understand like on a daily basis, average daily basis, what your toileting needs are, how many times you need to go, and how long it takes. So for example, if you need to toilet twice an hour during your waking hours, which is 10 hours a day, and it's taking you 20 minutes each time to toilet, you don't have a lot of free time and you're not going to be employable. So it's those types of connecting the condition to the limitations, and then having your medical records support it, that put a lock on your benefits. Crohn's is another condition that you could throw in there with that. So with COPD, like Philip talked about it earlier, like if you have COPD, how is it limiting your ability to be mobile, to walk?
Yeah, are you on oxygen? Do you have an oxygen tank? Do you have to drag a tank around with you, or
Right.
healer, things like that?
Yeah. I think Jam is here. She's spying on us. Everybody wave to Jam.
Jam.
Hey, Jam.
How we doing, Jam? Yes. All right. Okay, we have a few more. Thanks for sharing your personal circumstances. I agree. When you help others in whatever way you can, even if it's in small ways, make a phone call. I'm not reading that very well. But yeah.
Brian, I hear from Nicole, wants to know, how do you calculate your benefit amount for disability?
We actually have a video on that. If you search the YouTube channel, type in the keyword calculated, and if you can't find it, then we can get it for you. The short answer is it's based on your work history, how much you make, the taxes that you pay. But there's a calculator out there where you can actually go in and manipulate the numbers and say, okay, well, next year I'm going to earn a little bit more, a little bit less. How would this influence it? It's pretty cool. That's a Social Security tool.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. You have
I'm
another?
out. That's it for me, I believe.
Got a few more here. Let's see. 63, live in Illinois. Can I apply for SSDI and SSI? Was denied. Can I go back to work and reapply? Okay. Well, I mean, based on that information, I don't know. I would say yes, but let me speak to that in this point. We had a recent situation where an individual started the application process and was like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to be able to make it financially. And he's like, I'm going to cancel my application and go find something to do. So you can do that. You can call Social Security, you can cancel it. My encouragement is, for if you fall into this or know somebody, is to consider this. If you have your application going, let's say you've had an application in the system for 3 months, right? And you're at this point, or you find a really attractive offer and you're like, I want to give it a go. In my opinion, you should consider going for it and keeping your application alive, because if you can pull it off and prove that you can work, great. All you gotta do is call Social Security after you've demonstrated that you can work and demonstrating to yourself that you can work. So maybe you work for a month and a half and you're like, all right, I got this. I'm going to be able to make it work. Call Social Security. Let's say it doesn't work. Let's say you get 3 weeks into it and you're like wrecked and you just cannot go. Well, you could use that 3-week work experience as great evidence to prove that you cannot work. Could be additional evidence. You could even use this on the trial work program once you're approved. So I encourage you out there to think about the mindset, because back to the application part, if you canceled that and then you started it again after your trial, you have to start all over. And they may consider your case as being denied, which means that when you start over, you cannot recover any of the money for back benefits for the prior months that you were out of work. Right? Does that make sense?
Yep.
So
Yep.
try to work, consider trying to work. All right, we've got time for one more here. Let's see here. Okay. So this is a statement. I'm learning this from Mary. I'm learning a lot from this program. Thank you. Me too. And trying to realize that I can't do as much as I used to. Mama Bear writes, no license, no friends, live with my youngest son, and I'm 57. He's young yet. But I think some of these tips that we have here today, I encourage you to pursue those, Mama Bear. Like the title. All right, good. There's many, many more, but I am out of time because I have a commitment to get on to, and I want to be respectful of your time. So Daphne, Philip, thank you much for today.
Thank you.
Your
Be here.
contributions.
Really enjoyed it.
That's good. Taking time out of your day. And everybody else out there, I thank you for tuning in and listening. The 214 of you that are out there on YouTube, we appreciate you. We're here most Wednesdays. Cannot say every Wednesday. So we invite you to come back. We have some wonderful guest speakers in the next few months coming up. Attorney James Brown will be back to reveal some secrets about getting approved for disability, reluctantly, but he will. So just stay tuned for those and more. So if you're new here, welcome. We encourage you to join us as a member. Or if we haven't heard from you in a while, to update your membership by simply going to the disabilitydigest.com and completing your profile. There's no charge for it. And the value of doing that is you can get the right information based on your membership profile. Maybe you're trying to get approved, you're applied and waiting. There's specific information for that.